Hey, how you guys doing there? Welcome back to my channel, Cross the Trigger. I'm going to go over some more Dark Knight macro combinations you can do. Just a couple more. I have a few ideas as far as some other options that you can do for some other ideas for things. One of them is this. This is Dark Mind and then Dark Dance together. You can put either one in front if you like, Dark Dance or Dark Mind, depending upon if you want to power them up. Which one would you want to power up more so? Which one do you feel more like you want to power it up? You can change them around per battle or make a different macro that you can set in there as like the first one. Like you could put Dark Dance first and the macro icon is, or not Dark Dance, but Dark Mind first, the macro icon is Dark Mind, the second one would be Dark Dance, and you could flip them around whatever way you want to do it. That's another option too. They both have the same exact cooldown timer, so they're both 60, or what is it, 40 seconds? I thought it was 60 seconds. What is it now? Jeez, I'm forgetting. 60 seconds, yeah. Why do I think that's 40 seconds? I almost think it was. But you can do that. That's another one you can do. This one's another thing you can do too with the two little mini buffs. These have the exact same timer, so Foresight and Awareness would work well together because you're doing a defensive buff for physical, and Awareness cuts down on all critical damage too. So if they were to do some magical damage to you, there wouldn't be any critical damage in there. But if it was all physical damage, the physical damage would be lowered down and there would be absolutely 0% chance of critical damage. So that's another one you can do. I don't do it. I have a different way of setting it up. I can show you my way too. And I think for this video, what I want to do is go a little more in detail on things. I think the last one, I tried to put it together with a different kind of software, and I was all over the place with some things. So I'm going to just like go over this, physically, right here with you with me watching it. So if that makes any sense. But this one I like a lot because Reprisal with Dark Dance is great. But Reprisal before Dark Dance I think is even better because as far as the timers go, it seems to work well. Because Reprisal, from what I know, you have to be facing the enemy to be able to parry. So you're not going to be able to get Reprisal unless you do this. And so Dark Dance works to help increase the parry chance, so you still have to face the enemy to do this. So when you're able to do this macro, you're going to be set facing the enemy. So what typically happens with this is that Dark Dance and Reprisal, they're both pretty good counters as far as how they're set. Reprisal's 30-second timer to come back, and Dark Dance is a 60-second timer. Now if you wanted to power this up right before you did Reprisal, you could, but you don't really know how long you have till Reprisal comes up. So this one doesn't exactly work too well if you want to use Dark Arts, but it can work, I suppose, because Dark Arts does work faster. You can do abilities faster than before, but I like the timers because 30 seconds to 60 seconds basically means you do this once, this timer's down for 60 seconds, this timer's down for 30 seconds, 30 seconds rolls over. You can still not do Dark Dance, but you can do Reprisal again. Once this rolls over again, these two should be active. Reprisal and Dark Dance should be both active the third time around because the timers seem to work together pretty well. I like how they're working for me. They'll probably work pretty well for you. And plus, this works as a little bit of a mini buff because the target can only do 10% less damage to you. So that's 10% less damage, and this is plus 20% evasion, which a parry typically drops the attack down by 20%. So 20% with a minus 10% damage kind of makes 30%, but the Dark Dance is still on or off randomly, so it could kind of make a shadow wall, but then sometimes it's less than a shadow wall, so that's a little bit of a gamble. But these two seem to work well together, and I don't particularly think that Dark Dance before Reprisal is better, because you can do it and it'll proc Reprisal, but then the timer's down because as soon as you got Dark Dance procced and it's working for you, it wants to proc Reprisal again after you've just done Reprisal. So the timer's still down. So these don't really seem to work together as far as doing Dark Dance first and then Reprisal second. At least for me, it doesn't seem to work like that. So I like that as a macro. It seems to work for me, and especially the time the time for it goes. That seems to work for me for that. Another thing, I don't know if I showed in my previous videos, this one you can do for all kinds of different jobs. It's R3 button. This is macro 99, and there's macro 98. But macro 99 I like a lot because I just like hitting R3. I just know the timer is going to be 2 point something seconds, and I just press it, and it's like muscle memory by now. I just know when to do it. It'll do unleash for me most of the time. And here's how you get that to work. Come into your system config, controller settings, button configuration, begin. Now right down here or here, this is where you get macro 98 and 99. Right down here at the bottom. Usually it's going to be up here on draw lock weapon, but you push it down here. And I just saw these at one point. I'm like, execute macro 99. Holy cow, I can do this. Great. Okay, this is what we're doing. You can do 98 for this, but I just like the draw sheath weapon option. Just looks cool to me. But you can do macro 99 and then just, this should pretty much be for a timed ability, for one timed ability for the job class that's very fast. I know the summoner has, I can't even think of the name now, but it's a little action where you can have the pet heal itself a little bit better, and I like that one for that too. That one's good for that because it's a very short timer. But I want to show you that. Go over some of my other ones here too. I don't know if I went over the tanking ones as much. This is my tank swap provoke. So it'll say I'm provoking the enemy, and then party number 2, which is number 2 is typically the tank in a 2-party kind of thing where we're tank swapping, and I'll say party number 2 stand aside. I'll have at the enemy or something like that because it's sign quote anyway. But whatever you want to do, if the other tank is number 3 in your list going down, you can do that. This is the normal provoking I do. Provoke and then an unmend. Got to get rid of that stuff. And so yeah, that's for that. As far as my normal skills go, I've already kind of showed this before. I can run over this again too. I suppose probably talk about it a little bit. Shadow Wall with Convalescence is good. It's good, but you don't really need it all the time. Shadow Wall is good enough by itself, so that could work by itself. But that's good. The other one I do is typically Dark Mind with Foresight or Awareness. Now, when I do this together, you're going to see it right here. I've got Dark Mind and Foresight. It's on the bottom screen. You see the little emblems down there. They're both running right now. The next time Dark Mind is available for my macro, I will be able to do Dark Mind in Awareness instead of Foresight, because Foresight's down. It's at 120-second timer. Dark Mind is a 60-second timer, so that's twice as long. So as Foresight's down, Awareness will pop. Next time I'm able to do it, then Foresight will be up and Awareness will be down. So they keep flip-flopping back and forth, and I'll show you that in a second here. Here's Living Dead as far as the macros go. This is a pretty good one to do. You could put the different weight timer in there, however you like. 6 seconds is pretty decent because by the time, you tell them, you're going to start it, and then it's kind of running, then they can start to heal you up. So, let's see, here's Awareness and Dark Mind, because now Foresight's down for that macro. So now I have Dark Mind and Awareness on. And these work well because it kind of balances out the Dark Mind as far as, because Dark Mind is only really magically defensive. So you don't have any physical defense, so throwing Foresight in there or Awareness works great. You could probably say Convalescence, but Convalescence is depending upon whether the healer is going to actually heal you. So that's based on that. So that doesn't work out well for that, but it works out well for this one, for the Living Dead skill, because you do this. Let me put it on. No bot spam here. You do this one. Let's get out of here. Do this one. Starting Living Dead. Living Dead's active on me right now. Living Dead active. Pop the Convalescence. I don't want to put Convalescence on too soon. I want to put it on right when that's starting to, go off and stuff. So then they start to heal me when I say the Living Dead is active. They could try to start before, but they start to heal me, and the convalescence works the best with Living Dead because a lot of people are like, I don't like Living Dead. Oh, it's because you don't macro it. That's why. This one needs a macro. You don't need to macro Hallowed Ground. Do not need to do that. Home game, possibly. I don't know. I don't do Warrior too much. But you don't need to macro Hallowed Ground. It seems to be better if you just pop that thing. Because if you try to macro it, there's some sort of delay. There's like a whole animation thing you go through with Hallowed Ground, and you could be dead. But with Living Dead, yeah, you kind of need to macro this one because it's easy. The healer just heals you like normal. That's all that happens. The healer just heals you, and you come right back, and it's like nothing ever happened. It's pretty easy. But the thing is, it's kind of harder if you don't have convalescence on because then the healer has to go into overdrive to heal you more. But if you put convalescence on, well, then that makes it so much easier. So those definitely need to be together. Definitely need to be together. And then timers aren't bad for it because convalescence is 120 seconds and Living Dead is, yeah, that's 120 seconds. Living Dead is, I think, 3 minutes or something. So no matter what, you're always going to have convalescence up every time you do Living Dead. So it might behoove you to maybe not do this one here, this macro with the Shadow Wall of convalescence. But I don't really do Shadow Wall and Living Dead too much together in the same battle. I mean, it can happen, but usually I'll probably do Living Dead first if there's like a major hit coming. And then later on I'll do this. And this one doesn't matter if you have this one on or not. This is sort of optional. But here's my basic one that I do. And this is what I do when I get into a dungeon. I'll do this macro after I got all the enemy's attention and I got them where I want them to be. And then I'll start doing my major heavy attacks on them. Physical attacks. Because this will almost turn into a Shadow Skin. Because this is 20% defense here. The Shadow Skin is 20% defense, and then that's a 20-second timer too. And here we got Bloodbath, 15-second timer, 25% physical damage dealt into HP. So you do this, and you power up your Carven Spit, power up your Soul Eater. You start to heal yourself up while you're putting on a very big. Well, it's not a very big defense, but it's a good defense. It's the best. It's one of the best ones for the Dark Knight, the Shadow Skin. So you put this on with that, and it almost converts it into a Shadow Wall. So you kind of have like 2 Shadow Walls in your inventory with the Bloodbath. And you don't want to have Bloodbath on first because it's a 15-second timer, and this is all based upon your physical attack. So as soon as this is active, you have to start hitting the enemy relentlessly with physical attacks. Not Salted Earth, not Dark Passenger, physical attacks. So Plunge, Scourge actually works. Not as well as like Carven Spit, but it does work. I was using Mercy Stroke for a while, but there's times I just forget to do it. Because it's just like I have to wait until they're almost dead. And if I'm with a party, the party's just going to just dissolve the enemy like instantaneously. And half the time you don't even get the attack to work out. So I like Awareness better because that one I can always do. I don't have to worry about a team killing the enemy before I do. Here's another one I can go over with you. These are attack ones you can do. You can put like Blood Weapon or Dark Dance behind it if you want. I don't use these right now because I have these other ones that I'm doing. Like this one I like doing Reprisal with Dark Dance a lot more than this, but this is another option in case you want to go this route. Here's another one. I already talked about this before. Salted Earth with Blood Price are amazing together. Almost the same timer. They both have to be used when you're getting hit by multiple enemies and hitting multiple enemies. So they work great together. I like that. This Soul Survivor is great because this is a reason you are a Dark Knight. Paladins have cooldowns and a shield. Warriors have health and an axe. And Dark Knights have healing abilities and a big giant sword. So you have to heal yourself. It's your responsibility to start healing yourself. Yes, the healer heals you, but part of your cooldowns is from healing yourself. So when it comes to Bloodbath, comes to Soul Eater, comes to Soul Survivor, those things are your defensive buffs. You heal yourself. Do it yourself. That's the point. So you can put this as marking attack 1, triangle, whatever you want to do. But this works out great because this clues in the party. It's like, hey, he's telling us that he's marking this enemy with Soul Survivor. Maybe he wants to get back his hit points. And maybe he wants to get back his MP. Usually I do this more so for MP. This does work for health too. And in the middle of a dungeon, you will probably have some damage to you too. But if a healer puts you all the way up to full health, this really is really good to get back MP because you want to try to do as much damage as you can. That's how I try to do it. Try to do things. But here's another one I like to do. I run through my combos, but when I do this, I usually have my blood skin activated. So I got Shadow Skin and Bloodbath. So I've got a defensive buff on, and I'm healing myself up, and I'm doing a very, very powerful attacks that are giving me back a lot of hit points. So this is what I do to heal myself. This works very well. Here's another thing you can do as far as the blood weapon goes. I've got it on this side. I've got 3 different sets here, so I don't have to screw around with a bunch of different commands. So I got blood weapon with salted earth. That one works pretty well. That one's when you're going off grit because like this isn't going to exactly work. I mean, you can do this and you'll have both activated as far as what they're going to do, but this really only works for multiple enemies hitting you and fighting multiple enemies. So you know, that works for that, but this works for this, and it's almost the same thing because you got salted earth with either blood weapon or blood price, but this works pretty well. So yeah. What else? I think I went over everything. I don't think there's much else I need to go over. You're probably just going to look through the video and just pause it and try to copy stuff anyways. Well, here's the other one I did before. Dark Passenger with Abysmal Drain or Plunge. Usually I power this up. If I'm too far away or the enemy walks away from me, then it's basically going to power up an Abysmal Drain and shoot Abysmal Drain at the enemy, which is going to give me back my enmity, and I'm going to jump to him too. So I can't lose aggro with that. It's hard. It's very hard to. Let's see here. The Plunge and the Scourge, I don't put a weight between these because the weight doesn't seem to even work. There has to be like a set position as soon as you've landed to be able to do like Scourge. I think it's like 1.7 or something. It's a weird number. It doesn't seem to work, so I just press these in succession, and when I can, I just keep hitting the button for this. And this is the one time that I have 2 macros together without a weight, and I just smash the button until the other one works. It's one time I do it. Otherwise, because these timers work together, Scourge is 30-second drain, and Plunge is 30 seconds to get it again. So the timers work pretty good. So if you see the Scourge gone on the enemy, then you know Plunge will be active pretty much right away. But if that doesn't work because you've used Dark Passenger, well, then oh well. But I don't use Plunge to jump into the battles too much. Usually I'll do Unmend first, and then I'll Plunge. I always want to do some enmity generation thing first because yes, these can generate enmity, but the basic ones that say they generate enmity are more enmity generation stuff than your other stuff. I don't know how to describe that, but okay, this is getting crazy here. But yeah, so wanted to go over that, show you some of that, show you the controls and stuff. Yeah, I don't really have much else to show you. I showed you some other stuff in the previous video. I just wanted to make this one a little cleaner. You know, as far as it goes, I'm going to probably do some more dungeons. The new ones that come out, the old ones don't, I have no reason to do them. It's just, you go over your basic combos and you just keep hitting Unleashed on the enemies. There's nothing interesting to show you there. But I might go over the new dungeons. I don't know if I'm going to do like one to show you kind of how to do it, or just show you what I've done from trying to get it finished when it comes out. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do like a guide or just hey, this is how I tried it and I passed or failed. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that yet, but so I don't really have any more macro stuff I can show you for this. There's not much more they can do for Dark Knight unless they actually bring out some more macros, or not macros, but they bring out more abilities for you to do. Then I'll have to like go over it and scour through the options and look at everything and see what works best with what. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching this very, very long video. Hope you have a good day. Take it easy.